Hello everyone, my name is Jordan. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 books that I really want to get to in 2022. So most of these books I own, some of them I own a lot. Actually, I own on Kindle, but these right here are the ones I currently own physically. A few I have ordered and are being shipped to me right now, but these are just a bunch of the books I'm super excited for at this moment. Books that I've either had my eye on recently or that I got for Christmas. Some sequels that have been released, some books that I just really want to get to. That's basically the theme for this whole video. So I have 10 books. It's actually probably a little bit more than 10 books with sequels and stuff like that, but about 10 books that I would really like to get to in 2022. So I guess let's just get into the first book. The first book is the one that I'm currently reading. I started it a couple days ago, and that is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. The city of Elantris used to be inhabited by these people who were magic users, basically gods, and about 10 years ago something happened and all the magic just went away. They were basically cursed. This story takes place 10 years later. The capital city has been relegated from Elantris to a city right next door called K-E, I don't know how to pronounce it. This princess has shown up. She is to marry the prince of the capital city of Arelon, and she wants to marry him to solidify this political alliance between Arelon and her home city, or home country of Teod, I believe, only to find out that her future husband is dead. And there is this clause in the marriage contract that says she is still married if anything were to happen to either of them. So she remains in the capital city to continue to solidify this political move, this political alliance between her country and Arelon. While she's there, she butts heads with this high priest who has also recently arrived in the city, and that is the basic gist of this story. I'm sorry if that is a terrible explanation. I just don't know how much to give away because I don't want to give away too much, but that's basically what I believe the synopsis in the back of the book says. I am about 175 pages into this one. I'm really enjoying it. This is my first foray into Brandon Sanderson as an author. Yeah, this is just one of the books that I really wanted to get to this year, and I am happy to say on the 3rd day of January, I am getting to one of them. The next book I want to get to, we might as well just continue with the Brandon Sanderson theme here, is The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. I have the second and third book in Mistborn Era 1, and then I have the 3 that are currently out from Mistborn Era 2, and I would also like to get to those this year. My main goal is going to be The Final Empire. This is the one I'm going to focus on. So basically in this story, there are these people called Allomancers who can give themselves magic by ingesting different metals. That's what I got from what Allomancers are. And a group of these Allomancers wants to overthrow the Dark Lord. Basically, the Dark Lord has been in power for 1,000 years, and he's this tyrannical, evil dictator, oppressor, and so this band of Allomancers, I think led by Kelsier, is that the main character's name? He leads this group to basically overthrow the dictator. That's what I have gathered from the synopsis of this. I'm just really interested in Brandon Sanderson's expansive Cosmere world. I love character-driven stories. I love thick books, long series. That's one of my favorite things, so I'm super excited to get to this at some point this year, hopefully. And the next book that I really hope to get to in 2022 is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, another really hefty book. This is the first book in the second trilogy of the Realm of the Elderlings. The first one being the Farseer trilogy following Fitz, the bastard son. This one, I believe, is about these ships that come to life after 3 generations die on board. 3 generations of the same family, I think. I don't have too much information about this, just what I've grasped from what I've heard other people say about this series. I don't want to read too much into it because I've seen the synopses of these books kind of spoil what happens over halfway into the novel, and I don't really want to risk that for these. I absolutely adored the Farseer trilogy. I love Robin Hobb's world building, but more I really, really love how well she writes characters that you love, that you hate. Even if you don't care for them, you're still interested in them. I know people say this is their favorite trilogy that they've read from her, so I'm really interested to see where I fall on that spectrum of if I enjoyed this more than Farseer. I have a feeling I will. And again, I would like to get to Mad Ship, and I believe the last one's called Ship of Destiny this year, but again, if I don't, I at least want to try to get to this one. The next book I want to get to is one that I don't own, either physically or on ebook, but there was a lot of hype surrounding this last year with the release of the movie, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert, I believe. This is basically a sci-fi novel following our main character, Paul, whose family has come into ownership of this planet. And this planet is basically a desolate wasteland, except it is the only place you can find this drug that extends life and enhances your mental capabilities. And of course, owning this planet where this elusive drug is gonna create some power dynamics and power struggles. People are gonna want what you have on that planet. So I think that's basically what this book follows. I, again, don't have a strong grasp of the plot. I really like to go into books with a vague sense of what's going on, but not hard details. Just that's how I've always liked to read. So I apologize if my synopses of some of these are completely wrong or very vague, but that's just how I like to read. And I really want to get to this one before the hype dies down too much. I haven't seen the movie, but I would really like to watch it. So yeah. The next book is one I own on my Kindle, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I own all 3 books in this trilogy. I don't know if there's going to be more, but I own the 3 that are currently published, I know for sure. This book follows our main character, Lynn, who takes this nationwide exam to go to a university, and to the surprise of basically everyone, she absolutely aces it and goes to this elite military academy. At this military academy, of course, she's going to face bullying and just antagonism from her peers because of the way she looks, where she's from, all of that. And in the midst of all of that, she learns that she has these basically mythical powers, shamanism. I guess it's something that hasn't been around much lately and has become a myth basically in some people's minds. So she's learning to control these powers she has just become aware she has, and meanwhile the country is basically in a time of peace, though there are a lot of people who believe the third Poppy War is on the brink. I'm really excited about this one because school setting, I'm always a sucker for a school setting, mythical powers, and I know this is a very beloved series, so I'm really interested to see what all the hype is about. The next book I really want to get to in 2022 is a bit of a deviation from this very fantasy heavy list, but that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I really love adult romance novels. I think recently I haven't been in the mood for them, but I've just been in a very fantasy heavy mindset. But I know this book is very beloved all over BookTube and BookTok and the internet in general. But this one is basically about Chloe, who I think she suffers from chronic pain, and one day she's just fed up and makes this list to get a life. And she finds this man, I think his name is Red, to help her complete that list and just live her best life. Like I said, I know people love this one and the 2 sequel novels. I'm just really excited to dive into this one and see what all the hype is about with this one as well. Another book I really want to get to this year. It is not out yet. Today is January 3rd and it comes out tomorrow actually, but that is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Seanan McGuire. This is the 7th book, I think, in the Wayward Children series. I recently read Across the Green Grass Fields, and I really enjoyed that. I guess I will say that the first book in this series, Every Heart a Doorway, follows main character Nancy, who has arrived at this school, Miss Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. I think that's the title. Basically, this is a home for children who have gone through these doorways to their own worlds, where they have been for a long time, just this world that's basically built for them, where they've felt at home. and they have gone back through their doorways to the real world, and they are struggling to cope with that while they either wait for their doorway to come home, or while they either wait for their doorway to reappear for them to go back into these worlds, or coping with the fact that they will never get to go back through these doors ever again. Some of the novels follow the characters in these worlds, some of them follow them at the schools. This new one follows a character that we have met briefly before, and I think it might actually delve into some of the other schools in the real world, so I'm really interested to see where that goes. The next book I want to read is actually 2 books. I want to get to both of these this year, and those would be the sequels to Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, which would be Godsgrave and Dark Dawn. I recently read Nevernight and I absolutely adored it. It was probably one of my favorite books of 2021. It basically follows this girl, Mia, who is on a quest for revenge for the people who killed her father and ruined her family. She ends up apprenticing at this assassin school because she wants vengeance for her family. And I really cannot say more than that, but it is full of mystery, murder, assassins, the school setting. Just honestly, I don't know what else I could ask for in a book. I loved it so much. I honestly couldn't put it down. So I really want to get to the sequels since that book is so fresh in my mind and my enjoyment is so fresh. So those are actually on their way. One of them I think is getting here today. The next book I really want to get to in 2022 is the sequel to a book I recently read, and this book would be Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is the sequel to From Blood and Ash. I will say I didn't love From Blood and Ash, but I have the sequel on my Kindle and I want to get to it again while From Blood and Ash is so fresh in my mind. I gave the first one about 3 stars. It had potential, but I didn't absolutely love it like I hoped. From Blood and Ash follows main character Poppy, who is the maiden in this town. And basically being the maiden means your face can't be seen, you can't talk to other people, you can't interact with anyone, you can't go certain places. Basically, you can't do anything. And the fate of the world is basically resting in Poppy, the maiden's hands. She meets this new guard, Hawk, and one thing leads to another, of course. She basically goes on this journey of questioning everything she thought she knew, and your traditional fantasy romance ensues. It was good, not great, but again, I really want to get to the sequel soon, just to keep that momentum up. And the final book I really want to get to in 2022 is the sequel to one of my favorite books of 2020, and that book is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The first book is The Inheritance Games, and that basically follows our main character Avery, who just wants to get through high school, just wants to get a scholarship to a good college, and one day she finds out that she has inherited this man's entire fortune. There's one catch though. She has no idea who this man is. And in order to get the fortune, she has to go live in his mansion. The mansion is full of the things the man loves, or loved. Puzzles, riddles, mysteries, games, all kinds of stuff. His family also lives there. His family who wants some of the inheritance. So some of them think this is part of one of his elaborate riddles. Some of them just don't trust her at all. And of course, it's Avery trying to figure out why she got this inheritance, who these people are, what she's supposed to do, all of that. It has big Knives Out vibes. I'm sure you've heard that if you've heard about this book. Everyone compares it to Knives Out, and it really does have strong Knives Out vibes. I really, really, really enjoyed the first one. It was one of my favorite books of 2020, if I haven't already said that. I just love a good riddle, mystery, puzzle in a book. So I'm super eager to get to this one at some point this year. So there you have it, 10-ish books that I really want to get to in 2022. I hope I can get to them all. I think I can. I think it's very achievable. These are some of the ones on my TBR that I'm the most interested in, so I don't think it should be too hard to get to them all. I think that is everything, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, but I will see you with another video soon. Bye!